Hi Aries, welcome. Thank you for joining me on the Fool's Journey Tarot. This is a general love reading for the sign of Aries for this coming week in July. Today is Thursday, the 17th. This is a general reading, and that means that it can apply to just about anything in your life, Aries, relationships or otherwise. I want to remind you to be flexible with the energy. Don't be overly concerned about the gender of the cards. You can mix and match the roles within the reading. That means you can be represented by any of the characters that shows up in the cards. That also means that you might feel like I'm reading for you, but you could feel like you're cross-watching for somebody that you're dealing with. Parts of the reading may resonate, other parts may not. Take what does, leave behind what doesn't. I hope that by the time you finish watching this, Aries, not only did you enjoy it, but I hope that you feel like you have something that's beneficial, helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. That's my intention. Okay? So Aries, if you are unfamiliar with my channel or you've never seen it before, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. There is more specific information in the description box below. Returning viewers, welcome back. Okay, let's get started. Give this first deck a cut, and then we're going to see what we have in store for Aries for this upcoming week. Here we go. Six of Wands in reverse. And we have the Three of Swords. The Hermit in reverse. Seven of Wands in reverse. The Tower in reverse. The Eight of Cups in reverse. Death. And the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like this could be related to a work situation, job, employment of some kind. With the Eight of Pentacles coming out here. I feel like something didn't work out. Something failed, possibly. This feels disappointing, to say the least. This feels like it could have to do with a group dynamic. Maybe co-workers, colleagues. If this isn't a workplace situation, could be a family dynamic. Could be something you are doing with other people, maybe something you're creating, something you're working on, something you're researching. But I feel like there could be a question about whether or not to return to this situation and start again, try again, start over maybe, or to walk away from it altogether. Do we give this another chance? Now that it's failed, does this still have legs? Is this still worth it? Or are we going to give this up? You could be trying to figure that out right now, Aries. So let's get some more cards on the table. Let's see what else we can come up with for you. The Tower in reverse again. Four of Cups in reverse. Four of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands in reverse, clarifying the Seven of Wands in reverse. Six of Swords. The Page of Swords in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles clarifying death, which is in the same set with the Eight of Pentacles, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so the same message is coming through a little bit more strongly this time. So there is, it feels like a decision, but it could be something that's just an opportunity right now that's presenting itself. Something failed, something went wrong, something didn't go the way you had planned. I feel like it's a group endeavor or something that involves other people. It feels disappointing, but at the same time, it feels like you might have been anticipating this failure or expecting it. It feels like it's a long-term goal, maybe something you've been working on for a while. And at this point in time, even though it's something long-term that maybe you've been moving toward or working toward for a while, it feels like right now, even with all the effort, energy, maybe money and resources you put into it, you're still thinking that this is probably the best plan, is to let this go now that it's failed once and for all. I get the sense that there's some kind of sign from the universe telling you, you know what, this is a done deal. Nobody wanted this anyway. Maybe as things transpired, or as you were moving forward, you were making progress, there was less and less motivation or efforts or energy being put into this, and maybe that's ultimately why it failed. It feels like this is something that maybe people lost interest in, or there wasn't as much effort being put into it as the farther you got into it, and ultimately it didn't work out, and now the universe is saying, now's your time to get out. Now's your time to get away from this. To escape while the getting's good. While the getting's good. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I mean, Aries. Get out of this while the getting's good. It feels like, though, the type of work that you might be doing, or the type of project that you might be doing, is still significant to you or still relevant, but it's transformed because of this recent failure. I feel like the death is indicating to me a transformation of whatever this is for you. I think you still want to hold on to the basic concept of this project or this work endeavor or creative endeavor, whatever this is for you. You still want to hold on to the basic premise of what it was that you were working on, but it's transformed somehow. It's very different than what it used to look like, and I think that through this process of pursuing this, and then maybe, again, not having much success with it, you've realized maybe some mistakes, or the direction that you were going was not quite right. Things weren't going as planned, and that's because it needed to transform. It needed to change. You needed to change the way it looked. I think there's still an attempt to leave this in the past. Whatever this failure was, it feels like you're still trying to leave it behind, leave it in the past. So if this is a transformation of a concept, for example, even though it is somewhat related or similar to what you've been working on or what you were working toward, the transformation makes it feel like it's something brand new. But there are some pieces or parts of this recent project or effort that failed that you're hanging on to. So in other words, it could be as simple as you've kind of learned some lessons along the way, or you've learned some tricks of the trade, or you've gained some knowledge and some wisdom that allows you to move forward with something new. But there are traces of this previous effort still present, is what I have so far. Let's get some more cards for you, Aries. 4 of Swords in reverse. 5 of Cups in reverse. 4 of Pentacles, this time in reverse. The Hierophant. 7 of Wands, this time in the upright position. Temperance in reverse. 3 of Cups in reverse. And then the Devil in reverse. So I do get a strong sense that there are, this is a group dynamic and a group effort. Could be a family situation. Again, it could be other people that you're working with, partnership, social circle or friends maybe that you're collaborating with, but this hasn't been a success for anybody, or the perception is that nobody's really satisfied with how things turned out. Now, I don't think that there's being any, doesn't feel like there's any discussion or thoughts surrounding the return or reconsidering the effort that was made on this specific project or whatever this was for you. Because I feel very strongly that the people involved in this situation feel like this failure kind of put the nail in the coffin, and it's an opportunity for you to get away from this, to leave it behind once and for all. But Aries, it feels like you might be considering what you have gained out of this effort and the failure of this effort and how you can transform it into something new. But I don't know that you're talking about it yet. Because the idea of returning to the drawing board, returning to the idea stage, or trying to get things restarted would not be met with enthusiasm by other people who were involved with the situation if you were to move forward with the same people, for example. And I feel like that could be maybe what's on your mind. I don't think that people would welcome that idea. So I think that you're keeping this to yourself, but it does feel like you have gained an understanding through this process and through the loss of this effort, and then through the effort to let it go, including the disappointment regarding this loss, that you've gained some insight. You've gained a new perspective. I think you've gained some wisdom. And Aries, it feels to me like you could be motivated to hang on to what's valuable from this experience, and then try again, but it's not going to be trying again with the same project or effort. It's something new, but again with a trace of familiarity. That's a hard word for me to say. There's some trace elements of this previous project in this new effort that you might be considering. But I don't think you're talking about it yet, because I don't think you would receive a positive response. Because I think right now, most people the people who were involved in the situation, including yourself, I feel like are at this point in time working through the disappointment of what didn't transpire or of what you didn't achieve. So this is still happening right now in the present moment. Trying to get over the disappointment. There could be regrets surrounding lost resources, money, the time and the effort put into something like this, and then seeing it fall to the wayside is probably pretty difficult. It would be for anybody. So that right now seems to be a central concern, is getting past that. But Aries, for some reason, it looks like you maybe have a more positive perspective or outlook with regard to hanging on to what you've gained from this experience, which is really a good outlook to have, really good perspective to have. Yeah, I may have failed, but I sure have learned a lot along the way. And I have gained knowledge and wisdom, and maybe new connections and a new skill set or new perspectives on how to make things different, how to change things for the next go around. And I feel like, Aries, you could be considering those things. So let's get some more cards out here. We have the Page of Wands, Two of Pentacles in reverse, Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Six of Cups in reverse, Magician in reverse, Ace of Cups, and then the Chariot. So whatever this was for you, Aries, I feel like you have a strong passion for it. I feel like you're deeply connected to whatever this effort was. So you may have been orchestrating this. Maybe you were leading the efforts. Acting as a leader within this group dynamic to move things along. But it does feel too that because of this failure, or because things have not gone as planned, there could be people who are, playing the finger pointing game. It's your fault this didn't work out. You were trying to manipulate the situation. You weren't clear with your communication. You didn't do things right. People pointing fingers, trying to play the blame game, because right now the effort is to recover from the disappointment, recover from the sorrow, the grief surrounding the failure itself. And you might be the target of some of that energy coming your way. If in fact you were acting, as a leader or someone who's making the decisions, orchestrating the plans, whatever the case may be. But I feel, again, Aries, that there is this strong connection to whatever this endeavor was for you, is for you, and a desire to transform it and try again. If at first you don't succeed, says Aries, try again. And good for you. Good for you to have that perspective. I admire people like that. You know, if you're just going to quit when the going gets tough, well, what's the point? You know, why put that much effort into something and just say, oh, well, it didn't work out. I guess we're never going to be successful. Aries says, no. Yeah, it failed. Yeah, there were mistakes made. I'll take the blame for a lot of that. But I'm going to take what came out of this situation, the positive things that came out of it, run with it, and try again. Because that's who Aries is. Let's see what else we get for you. Five of Swords in reverse. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. 10 of Cups in reverse. 2 of Swords. The Sun in reverse. King of Pentacles. The Moon in reverse. And then the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so this message is pretty simple, and I'm not getting much more with regard to additional details, Aries, but I do feel like this King of Pentacles is you. And the King of Pentacles represents somebody who, now this can be, you can be a female and embody this energy. I just want to remind you. The King of Pentacles is somebody who's very hardworking, reliable, trustworthy, loyal, dependable. I think I said that already. This can be somebody who's a provider and a protector, a father figure, a business owner. This is somebody you want in your corner if you're working on a project or you're trying to, you know, get a business off the ground or whatever the case may be. I do feel like this is your energy, Aries, and I do feel like you're still embodying this energy even through some of the grief that has come from this situation failing. People might not even understand how you can feel this way as well. I think that there could be a reluctance to see the positives that have come out of this, but Aries is seeing the positives that are coming out of this. Others don't understand you, Aries, and that's fine. Right now, there's a significant effort to walk away from this, leave this behind, get over the grief, get over the heartache surrounding the level of effort put into this time, resources, money. There's just a lot of disappointment and grief surrounding the failure of this situation. And so there's not a lot of people who are embodying the kind of energy that Aries is right now, where instead of dwelling in this negative energy, Aries is ready to pick himself or herself off the floor and try again. Again, I don't feel like there's a lot of communication with regard to maybe getting other people involved or talking about how you want to transform this idea and start over or try something new. But with whatever you've gained from this past failure in your back pocket, you can try something new and benefit from what you've learned. I don't know that there's communication regarding that, and again, because I feel like people are not receptive at this point in time. They put way too much effort and energy into this and experience a level of disappointment that's going to be difficult to get over, but they will, especially if you're wanting to involve the same people. And I get a strong sense that that's the intent, is to move forward and possibly with the same group. And I feel like more than anything, this is a message about Aries, maybe you wondering when is the right time for me to broach this subject, to bring it up again, to talk to the people I want involved and see if when they'll be ready to try again. And there's no answer in the cards regarding the when piece of that, but that would be different for everybody, so I wouldn't necessarily expect the when piece to show up in the cards. Right now, there is a strong indication that now is not the time for sure. If you're thinking about now is not the time. So let's get a Dreams of Gaia tarot card for Aries, and then we're going to wrap this up. And this is probably one of my shorter videos, but the message is very clear in general. I hope that it's resonating, Aries, and I hope that it's helpful. We're going to take this card. We have masculine and feminine. This is an interesting card to come out. So I kind of, I know the meaning of this card. These 11 cards are the balance cards. This is the 11 of fire. And these are the pages. And the page of wands, page of fire, did come out for you. And trying to figure out how this would apply to this reading, and I'm not sure how it would apply. But I'm going to read the meaning, and you can, if it resonates for you, you'll know how it applies. Okay, Aries? So let's see what we get. These cards tend to be a little long. It's about 2 pages. Okay, Aries, here we go. The 11 of Fire is a balancing and realignment card. It symbolizes the importance of balancing our masculine and feminine energies and to remind us we are and always will be a mix of both. Our physical gender is irrelevant. The 11 of Fire asks that we look beyond gender stereotypes to how we respond and react to day-to-day experiences. On an energetic level, our masculine aspect serves to protect self and others, while our feminine aspect serves to nurture self and others. In a simplistic society, a typical male will embody a more masculine energy than feminine. They are characteristically more aggressive and forceful, but also very protective of those they feel are in need of protection. However, they are more apt to use physical force and aggression to protect. A typical female, however, will embody more feminine energy than masculine. They are characteristically more passive and yielding, and while possessing the same desire to protect the vulnerable, they will generally use diplomacy and dialogue in order to determine an option that avoids conflict. Gender stereotypes are often one-dimensional and rarely accurate, especially when we are discussing masculine and feminine energy, as opposed to man and woman. It can become even more problematic to assign specific attributes to either gender when there are many men who identify as female and women who identify as male. When it comes to masculine and feminine energy, we all have both. Regardless of our physical gender or the gender we have assigned ourselves, and this energy is expressed in how we behave and act. It influences all that we do. Masculine energy is active, impatient, assertive, creative, aggressive, forceful, protective, logical, analytical, and controlling. Feminine energy is inactive, calm, retiring, receptive, passive, yielding, nurturing, emotional, intuitive, and allowing. Masculine energy motivates us to focus upon our personal needs and self, while feminine energy motivates us to think of others and their needs. Again, regardless of gender, a person who is energetic and proactive is embracing masculine energy, while a person who is calm and passive is embracing feminine energy. Neither is intrinsically good or bad, but if an imbalance is present, it can be evident in our actions and give rise to destructive behavior. An imbalance can occur when we have too much of one and not enough of the other all of the time. Too much of one without enough influence from the other can create a very discordant and destructive mix. But what is the right mix? This is not about having equal parts of both, but about having a harmonious blend that is suited to your lifestyle and personal goals and needs. If you are not assertive enough, you may need to embrace more masculine energy. If you are overly assertive to the point where others are always intimidated by you, then consider embracing a little more feminine energy and soften your approach. An aggressive approach or method is sometimes required in order to break from the old and make way for the new, but aggressive methods don't always have to be violent. To be forceful is not always indicative of physical force being used. Masculine and feminine energy should be allowed to flow and ebb as it is needed. Like fire, flickering and dancing, you add less fuel if you want things to cool, and more fuel if you want things to heat up. Enough heat gives rise to creative, productive energy, but too much heat can burn both you and others. Cooling things a little gives rise to a nurturing warmth, but too little fuel and the fire could go out completely. The 11 of fire symbolizes an opportunity to take a moment to evaluate your life and ask yourself whether you need to embrace a little more masculine or feminine energy in your day-to-day activities and relationships. Do you need to step up and be a little more assertive or proactive? Does something or someone need your protection? Are you not nurturing yourself or others enough? Are you being overly analytical instead of heeding your intuition? Are you allowing impatience to get the better of you when your situation calls for calm and compromise? Are you choosing a path of inaction when you need to embrace one of action in order to manifest the changes you need? Pause for a moment, evaluate, and bring your masculine and feminine energies back into a harmonious alignment with your life and your needs. There you go. You know, this card is a good explanation as to why the gender of the tarot cards are not something that you need to be concerned about when you're watching a tarot reading, especially on YouTube where it's very general. And I say this a lot, and I'll say it again. So this can represent, you know, a female or a male. The masculine energy of this card indicates someone who, again, is a more proactive energy, someone who is more of a protector and a provider, somebody who is more aggressive in nature, maybe when it comes to business. Maybe there is a need, and maybe this is something, Aries, you've realized that you need to balance out those energies a little bit, or maybe get other people involved who balance out that kind of energy. And maybe that's what you need to tweak the situation and make it work for you. Make this work situation successful the next time around when you revisit this. So I feel like this is a pretty general reading with a pretty general message, Aries, and I hope that you gain some insight. I hope that you gain something out of this reading that helps you along your path. Excuse me, I just spit. I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much, and I hope I see you next time. Bye.